I would like to ask the members of the board, staff, and guests to join us in a moment of silence, and for those who wish to participate in a time of prayer, followed by those who plan or who can, to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for this day, for this moment in time. Thank you for another calendar year. We thank you tonight for our board, our superintendent, our clerk, our staff, our principals, our students, and our parents that are here tonight. Ask, Father, that you continue to watch over us, guide us, and allow us to continue to make the right decisions for our Nottoway County schools. In the mighty name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item C on your agenda there, approval of the agenda for January 8th. Members of the board, do I have a motion to approve the agenda for January 8th, 2026? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion passes. Next item on the agenda, reorganization of the school board. Letter A, election of the board chair. Members of the board, do I have a motion for a school board chair? By the Code of Virginia, the school board is required to reorganize at its first meeting of each year, including electing one of its members as the chairman.
So moved. Second.
Nominate Damien.
They need to do that first. Is there a second?
There was.
Second.
Damien, yes.
Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The motion passes. Here you go, Mr. Rowe. Thank you very much.
You're very happily passing it on.
I'm passing this right on off.
Very happily passing it on.
You can have one with here are your documents.
All right. All right.
Charles is here.
Good evening, sir.
We elected Damien to the chair while you were absent.
All right. All right, under reorganization of school board, item letter B, the election of the board vice chair. By the State Code of Virginia, the school board is required to reorganize the first meeting of each year, including electing one of its members as the vice chairman. Is there a motion for a member to serve as vice chair?
I would like to nominate Mr. Abbott.
Is there a second for Mr. Sonny Abbott to serve as school board vice chair? I will second it. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Sonny Abbott is elected as school board vice chair. Item C, the appointment of the clerk. By the State Code of Virginia, the school board is required to reorganize at its first meeting of each year, including appointment of the school board clerk. It is recommended that Charlotte Wood, Executive Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent, be appointed as clerk at set current salary of $4,000. Is there a motion to appoint Charlotte Wood as school board clerk?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, Charlotte Wood is appointed as clerk. Item D, the appointment of the deputy clerk. By the state code, school board is required to reorganize at its first meeting of each year and may appoint a deputy clerk. It is recommended that Heather Meyer, Director of Finance and Operations, be appointed as deputy clerk at set current salary. Is there a motion for Heather Meyer to serve as deputy clerk of the school board?
So moved. Second?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, item E is the setting of the school board meetings for 2026. By the state code, the school board is required to reorganize at its first meeting each year, including setting the dates, times, and places for the school board meetings. The school board has met on the second Thursday in the past. If the school board chooses to meet on the second Thursday of each month for the 2026 year, the meeting dates would be as follows. It would be January 8th, February 12th, March 12th, April 9th, May 14th, June 11th. In July, we are requesting that the meeting be held on July 2nd instead of July 9th due to scheduling conflicts. August 13th, September 10th, October 8th, November 12th, and December 10th. It is also being recommended that the school board meeting time for the regular session would change to 6 p.m. This is a change from the previous regular meeting start time of 7 p.m. And the school board meeting location is in the Minute Auditorium at Nottoway High School, 5267 Old Nottoway Road at Crewe, Virginia. That's otherwise noted. Is there a motion to set the school board meetings for 2026?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have one question about the July date. That's a couple of days before July the 4th. And I just wonder, I don't know what we're doing right now. Early for us to plan that, but I wonder if that might be better served if we moved it to the third Thursday. I think that probably conflicts with the Board of Supervisors, but just a thought.
Do we have any problem moving it to the third Thursday in July?
Marcia, did you send us an email that you would be out of the country?
That was the request, however, Dr. Lewis would be able to serve if I am not here. There's a high likelihood I'll be out of the country the 3rd or the 4th for at least a week and a half of July. But if you move it to the 16th, I will do my best to be back here by then, or if not, Dr. Lewis will serve, unless she's going on vacation with me.
I'm a member of the state SEAC committee, and I have a state SEAC meeting that day in Richmond on the 16th of July. So I would not be able to attend the meeting if we held it on the 16th.
That would run over until at least 6 o'clock?
It runs until 5 o'clock in Richmond, downtown Richmond. At least 5.
Mr. Chairman, if you leave it the normal date, it's fine too. I mean, Dr. Lewis, if the board understands that, would serve in my capacity for that meeting.
All right.
I'm not sure how we'd have to modify the motion then, because there's been a motion and it's been seconded. Now, voted down and voted
let's,
second time.
Yeah, so there's a motion and a second.
Or amend the motion.
We can amend, okay.
Amend the motion to change July.
Okay. All right, so I make, is there a motion to have it amended that we will leave the July date as July 9th, 2026 for the regular meeting?
We need a motion.
She is available. She's.
I'll approve the second, or I'll make that motion that we change from July 2nd to July 9, all other dates being consistent, starting at 6 p.m.
All right.
I'll second it.
All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. All right, item F, authorization of the superintendent and designee to take certain actions during the 2026 year. The superintendent to approve administrative, supervisory, professional, and support personnel to attend conferences and meetings. The superintendent to accept resignations prior to school board action in accordance to policy GCPB. The superintendent to reassign teachers, principals, and assistant principals to any school within the division, provided no change or reassignment during the period shall affect the salary of such teacher, principal, or assistant principal. The superintendent to make line item transfers in the school budget and report the actions to the school board. The superintendent as its agent and the designee as deputy agent to act in his or her absence or inability to perform this duty, to examine and approve claims, and when approved by the superintendent, to order or authorize the payment thereof. The superintendent as its agent and the designee as deputy agent to act in his or her absence or inability to perform this duty, to issue and sign payroll warrants drawn on the county treasurer, payable from county funds in payment of compensation for all professional employees, all other regular employees, and school bus drivers under a written contract, and to pay all incidental labor from school funds on the 1st and the 15th day of each month upon receipt of vouchers certified by the person authorized by the school board to supervise the work for which compensation is claimed. The designee to attend meetings of the school board in the absence or inability of the superintendent to attend, and the designee to the superintendent to sign official documents in the absence of the superintendent. All right, do I have a motion to authorize the superintendent and designee to take these actions?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Item G, the bonding of the superintendent, clerk, deputy clerk, and the payroll clerk. By the state code of Virginia, the school board is required to bond certain employees. And this will be the superintendent, the clerk, the deputy clerk, and the payroll clerk. Is there a motion to bond these individuals?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question. On the next page, approval of bonding of the superintendent, clerk, deputy clerk, and payroll clerk in an amount not less than $15,000. How much are we voting? What amount? 15,000, or it says not less than?
Typically has been the 15,000.
So change the wording on that to an amount of? Yeah.
Out of 15,000 each.
Can we ask Heather for clarification on that? Typically the 15, or does it fluctuate every year?
No, we're all bonded at 15,000.
It's bonded at 15.
15,000. Any more discussion? All in favor, sign of aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. So that is it for reorganization of school board. Currently. Now we should move to awards and recognitions, school highlights. Dr. Martin.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So this evening, our school highlights are coming from Nottoway Middle School, but before I turn it over to Principal Ms. Saunders to share, I did want to share this with the board first and foremost this evening. So as you're aware, we asked for an appeal regarding the school accreditation status of Nottoway Middle School. Our appeal was granted, so all 5 schools in Nottoway
Right.
are fully accredited.
All right.
I have not gotten the official letter. They did tell me it would come later on, but I did hear from the state superintendent last night. So that's exciting that all of our schools have met full.
All right.
Update the website.
And I already told, I sent a response email, will you let me know when you update your school quality? When will that be done?
Right
And will
away.
the official letter be in my
Right away.
hand? So with that, though, it was fitting because they are presenting school highlights this evening. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Saunders and her team, and they are going to highlight this evening about the 7th grade unit they recently completed on immigration and industrialization, I believe. And she's got students and teachers here to present, so I'll turn it over to them.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'm very proud to be here tonight, especially after that announcement.
Yes, indeed.
We are very encouraged and will continue to do the hard work that we have been working on constantly. I have here tonight with me Ms. Kristen Wilson and Mr. Robert Smith, are two of our history department teachers from Nottoway Middle School, and several of our 7th grade U.S. history students who are rock stars for being here and stepping up. And they are going to talk with you and present to you a project that they did. They are constantly looking for ways to provide student engagement and interactive experiences in the history department. And so the students are going to present to you a project they did on immigration and their experiences with coming to our country in Ellis Island. So I think I will turn it over to them.
All right. We'll just stand right up where we are. You guys want to just stand right up? Right beside Jordan, sweetie. Right beside Jordan. Okay. All right, you got it. All right. So I just wanted to introduce all of our awesome people to you all, just to give a name to a face. So this is Claire Miles. We have Baisley Dean, Katia Aguilera Campos, Chelsea Skinner, Abigail Spencer, Christian Ward, Kelsey Smith, Nia Wilson, Khalil Lucy, George Atkinson, and he has a hyphenated name, and I have asked what he would request, and Mario Cruz. So these are, I am at 100% showing tonight, so I want to
All
really
right.
acknowledge you all. They
All right.
committed and they made it happen, so
Go ahead.
and thank you to the parents.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, can you read it? All right, we have a narrator for our first part. Go for it.
Today you won't just learn about history, you'll experience it. As soon as you enter the room, you will take on the role of an immigrant arriving in the United States during the early 1900s. Your goal, successfully pass through a series of inspection stations to earn your entry to America. You will be asked to complete several steps, including signing your name and sharing key information about your journey, explaining who was traveling with you, stating your father's occupation, undergoing a brief medical check, completing a quick conjugate test, racing to see who can make it through the immigration process first. Some stations will be simple, others may challenge you. All of them will help you understand what millions of immigrants experienced as they came to America with hope and determination. Approach today with excitement, curiosity, and an open mind. This is your chance to walk in someone else's shoes and discover a meaningful part of our nation's story. Take a deep breath, step inside, and let your journey begin. Welcome to the United States.
And she said, don't cut me off. Powerful speaker. Thank you, Claire. So this is how the students were welcomed into our classroom for their lesson for immigration. We gave them a welcome into Ellis Island before they entered, and kind of gave them a preview of what they were looking for. And before we start, because I want to talk as least as possible, because this is about them, when they came in and they received their immigration cards. And so you will see each step that they went through in our video we created. So you can see that they went through each step that an immigrant would go through coming into the United States. And you'll get to really witness the excitement and the engagement in this active learning. And then after the video, it's just 2 minutes. We are going to allow them to share with you some of their immigration cards and some of their writings, because what we did on our second day is we did a writing activity where they pretended they had been in the United States for a while, and they wrote letters back home about their experience in the United States and their first bit of time here. Okay? Whoever's in charge of our video, would you please start it? And if you feel a little anxious, guys, you can sit down during the video.
Serenity, where'd you decide you're going? Cincinnati, Ohio. Why did you choose that?
Because the rest of them is like
$25 per ticket, $35 per ticket, and this one is $18 per ticket.
So you were looking at cost effectiveness.
These people have been sitting here a while. We weren't really quite sure who they were, but they're ready to redeem themselves and try to immigrate into the United States. Let's see if they know who they are. What is your reason for being here?
To get a better job for my family, get everything they need to get a better life.
Okay. You have passed on. Go ahead and stand back up, guys. We don't want to block your view. They kind of came to see your video and to see us. So at this time, if you all just share what you have, if you would like, your letters home and your immigration cards. Please keep the things that we are going to read, all right? So go ahead and step up and hand those. Yep. All right, share them. Go ahead, Tati, share. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chelsea. The one we're going to read to you. Christian, go ahead, guys. Everyone, step up. They'll pass them around if they want to look at them. We just wanted to make sure they could really see what you had done, right? So what you're receiving are their letters that they wrote home, and then the packet that you're receiving is what the process they went through in their immigration card, the places they were able to choose to live. They chose their occupation. So there was obviously a lot of different things that were brought into this lesson, including economy, but and at this time, we're going to do a little bit of share. I'm going to let them give you some feedback about their experience with this lesson. That's what we met and we decided on as a group that we wanted to share. All right, go for it, Paisley.
I learned about the immigration process. We had to go through multiple tests to enter the U.S. The tests we had to complete included IQ, physical, and academic.
Well done.
All right.
I personally had so much fun with this activity since I not only learned, but I got to experience the life experience.
When we made our immigration cards, I thought it made it fun because we got to pick all of our own information.
The activity was fun and enjoyable because I love to learn about the immigration process while getting to experience what they go through.
I like the fact that we had to wait in line and have to do mind games and a medical exam. It felt very accurate, and I felt like I was really an immigrant in the early 1900s.
What I really liked is how much freedom Miss Wilson gave us with writing the letters. We could really write anything as long as we followed the timeline and the topic.
My favorite part about learning history is writing the letter home to my family to the U.S. I learned that the experience immigrants coming into the U.S. was very hard, but it was fun.
I really enjoyed making my letter because it showed what they really went through from the start of their journey to the end, and I really didn't know it was like that. Of course, we learned about it in our lesson, but the physical experience was very helpful in allowing me to go through much of what early immigrants had to do.
The health check was fun because we had to actually think and not just guess. I didn't realize immigrating was so difficult until this activity.
I like how Ms. Wilson gave us freedom and fun about the stations and the letters. The station were fun. We had to do a postcard that says our first name and age and where we going. Then Ms. Wilson will give us a green dot or red dot. If you remember, if you do remember, we go to a medic station. If we pass our medical test, we got to go our intelligence test. I didn't just get to experience my early immigration. I had fun doing it.
All right.
Are there any questions? Any questions?
You did amazing.
Yes, sir.
Are you glad to be Americans? Happy to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Your letter, would you all let her read?
All right, go
Yes,
ahead.
please. Okay, thank you.
I made my journey to the U.S. The boat ride was quite nice. I, of course, was in the higher decks, so it wasn't a bad trip. But with my...
You done give yourself the giggles.
I couldn't do much. In the U.S., however, I have a...
Do you need a step in, Claire?
I have a house with my mom and dad. I may or may not send money for you to come.
She may or may not send money for them to come to the United States because she needs her money to buy her food and a cane. Love you lot. We can count on Claire to keep it quiet. This was accurate, though, and that's why I actually didn't want to exclude her, because most of the letters the students chose to be in the lower deck of the ship where it was not so nice, and Claire, true to Claire, decided she was going to have the money and be up top and be comfortable, and that's what
Yes,
Thank you all
indeed.
so much. Are we good to go? No, we're good. I can just get them later. Do you want to hold on to these now? All right, so, we want to go, I want to get a group picture real quick, okay? Claire, all this here and back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Good job, guys.
Hey, thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. Also under awards and recognitions, we have the Virginia Principal Appreciation Week. Dr. Martin.
Good evening again. Mr. Rowe, I think your presence is going to be requested up front,
Oh, okay.
so I'll give you time to get up there. So next week, we join school divisions across the Commonwealth in recognizing Virginia Principal Appreciation Week. And I would like to take a moment to formally honor the exceptional leaders of Nottoway County Public Schools. Our principals and our assistant principals are the instructional and operational leaders of our schools. They set the vision, they establish high expectations, they support teachers and staff, they partner with families, and ensure that every student has access to a safe, structured, and academically focused learning environment. And I might add, they deal with me on a daily basis, so that's, that's enough there probably for some of them. Their work often begins long before the first bell rings, and it continues well after the last student leaves every day. They balance instructional leadership with accountability, compassion, and high expectations, as well as daily problem solving with long-term school improvement. Through challenges and successes alike, they remain steadfast in their commitment to their students and their staff. Each day, our principals and our assistant principals embody what it means to be We Are Nottoway, committed to excellence. Their leadership, dedication, and service reflect our shared values and our focus on student success. Governor Youngkin has issued a Certificate of Recognition for Virginia School Principals Week, and I'm going to read that aloud. Certificate of Recognition, Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week. Whereas school principals work cooperatively to direct, develop, and inspire all members of the school staff and student body, and to communicate effectively with parents to engage them in the learning process. And whereas school principals serve as educational leaders, managing the policies, regulations, and procedures necessary to ensure a safe and effective learning environment for all students in Virginia's public and private schools. And whereas school principals serve as instructional leaders, equipping teachers with training and resources and delivering personalized, innovative student programs to ensure every student has the opportunity to succeed. And whereas school principals are entrusted with the opportunity and responsibility of guiding, directing, nurturing, mentoring, and imparting knowledge to our children while they are at school. And whereas school principals work collaboratively with teachers, staff, students, parents, and the community at large to proactively prepare students to be productive members of our economy, informed citizens in our democracy, and engaged neighbors in our communities. And whereas Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week is an opportunity to recognize the hard work of Virginia school principals and to recognize the importance of school leaders in ensuring that every child has access to a quality education that prepares them for life. Therefore, I, Glenn Youngkin, do hereby recognize January 12th through the 16th, 2026, as Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of our citizens. And with that, I would like to recognize our principals and our assistant principals, and we have a little just token of appreciation for them this evening. At Blackstone Primary School, Amanda Painter as the principal and Nicole Poore as the assistant principal.
Ms. Poore, what you got in here now? If you don't want any of this, just send something my way.
Okay,
I'll liberate you of it right away.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Same goes to you, Ms. Painter.
All right. Hand sand.
All right.
Gotcha.
At Crew Primary, Lloyd Page and Leslie Clark.
Thank you. Mr. Page?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your hard work.
At Nottoway Intermediate School, Dr. Maurice Smith and Dr. Devin Foster.
All right. Dr. Smith. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Foster.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, indeed.
At Nottoway Middle School, Amy Saunders and Shalonda Watkins.
All right. Ms. Saunders. Thank you very much. Watkins.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
At Nottoway High School, Reggie Wilson and Meredith Hudgens.
Mr. Wilson. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, at the Amelia Nottoway Technical Center, Lawrence Ledzinski.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, you spelled my name right.
All right, now we'd like to have all the assistant principals and principals please come back up. We'll take a group picture.
Beating the great pig. He's up here eating all the
A man after my own heart. You're dug into him already. Fast.
I'm going down.
Ms. Wood would like you to stand up behind.
She just-
No, she did not.
I heard.
Ms. Wood said for you to stand up behind them.
The board needs to
Okay, so she wants y'all to stand up all over.
Y'all behind.
Up, they,
Stand
they're
up.
refusing to stand up.
You're on my naughty
You have to
list.
stand up, Ms. Page.
That means you too, Marcia.
She said, the board.
I got you, you got you.
Don't, I'm going to move the picture.
You tell her.
Hey, boss, behave yourself, get up here.
There you go.
She didn't clarify.
Okay.
The brakes are on.
Mr. Outlaw, come over just a little bit.
Find a window to look through.
I'm a short person.
Our student liaison, if you can stand and get in between Ms. Hudgens and, there you go. There you go. Okay. And we're going to do this on 3. Ready? Everybody look at me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
All right.
Northern Virginia. Okay. Some of much of the.
All right, thank you very much.
4 languages.
Now we have delegation public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for delegation from the public?
We've got to do the statement first and then the presentation.
The board will not respond to comments made during the meeting. The regular board meeting is a meeting before the public and not a public forum meeting. Now we have Part B is the budget hearing for 2026-2027 community input. Ms. Meyer.
It's going to give the county acid indigestion.
Do it.
You might have to have that one.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Let's this evening, this, okay? This evening, I'm here before you, part of the public hearing, just to give everybody an update as to where we're at in the budget process and to give you the information that we currently know. So the governor's budget, Governor Youngkin presented his budget on December 17th. The state released their calculable school divisions on December 19th. So we have been hard at work, already starting the process of digging through those numbers and what they mean and how they're going to affect us. So the state budget, the governor's budget that he proposed, this is kind of the breakdown of the SOQ programs, the incentive, the categorical, the lottery funded, and they've now moved VPI into its own category of early childhood and education programs. So right now, and I broke it down as to what the state share is and to what the local share is, because I know there's going to be a lot of conversation over the next few months about the local share. So the state share of the budget, at right now, a planned ADM of 1675 that may be adjusted, puts us at total state revenue of $22 million. The local share that will be required is $7.3 million, and yes, this is quite a big increase over what they are currently paying this year. And I'll go into a little bit further detail about that here in a minute. But this is based off the governor's budget. Now, I want to note, we have an outgoing governor and we have an incoming governor. And the incoming governor has a lot of different priorities than the outgoing governor, so I foresee some changes to this as the process goes along. So what's in the proposed governor's budget? And I kind of just hit some of the highlights. So every 2 years with the new biennium, VDOE has to do re-benchmarking. And re-benchmarking is where they look at cost of living, inflation, they look at all these different numbers and they change their budget variables. Normally that has not been fully funded. This year they fully funded it. That is one reason why there's such a large increase on the county's share, because the per pupil amounts just went up tremendously. There's also increased funding for special education. The governor has a 2% salary increase planned in the budget. And then there's also the recommendation for a VRS rate reduction. Now granted, they did that 2 years ago and that did not pass. So we'll see what happens during the General Assembly season. So re-benchmarking. I wanted to make sure that I kind of brought this out because I knew there was such a large increase with the local budget to really kind of show some of the differences of the re-benchmarking and the per pupil amounts that went up. And these are just a few. These are the ones that had the biggest impact. So like the basic aid per pupil amount increased $921 per student. That's significant. You see some of the other ones may not be as much, but it still makes a very significant impact within all of their funding formulas. And I don't understand all their funding formulas. I haven't tried because they are sometimes cumbersome to get through. But these are the ones that really make the biggest impact on the budget because they were the highest increase. A little bit of a comparison between current FY26 and FY27 budget so that you can kind of see the difference. And there is a large difference even at a lower ADM from this year to next year. This year's budget was around $23 million, and that's with including the local requirement. Next year's budget's looking around $29 million. That's a $6 million increase. Now, as I said, General Assembly hasn't even gone into session yet, so this is all really preliminary information and is highly subject to change. So here's some budget assumptions that we do, some of them we know. The local composite index, the LCI, increased to 28.2% for these next two fiscal years from 26.96%. And more than likely in 2 more years, it will, if I had to guess, will go up to probably 30%, just because part of that number is the value of real property. Now, the LCI for this biennium is based off of 2023 data. In 2 years, when they redo it, it'll be based off of 2025. So I firmly anticipate that going up in another 2 years. So that means, as said again, the anticipated required local contribution is going to be around $7.3 million. Student enrollment, like this year we budgeted at 1,700. Next year anticipating budgeting at 1,675. Now that's not set in stone, still got to play around with the numbers to determine if that's truly where we want to be at, but that's where we're planning at right now. And then just putting it out there, because of the fact that we have a Democratic governor coming in and we have Democratic controlled House and Senate, more than likely they're going to try to get back onto the path of getting us up to a minimum wage of $15 an hour. So I firmly feel that there will be probably a sizable minimum wage increase in January of 27. There was a minimal one this year, but I do foresee there potentially being a pretty sizable one next year. What that's going to be, probably know a little bit more as the General Assembly session goes into play, and we can really kind of estimate that a little bit better. As the salary increases, the governor did include a 2% increase. However, I want to remind everybody that our focus this year is on teacher pay and trying to get that starting pay up so that we can be competitive with our surrounding counties. Right now, we have an anticipated ANTC funding need of about $285,000. Now there again, that's still preliminary and we're still working on fine details, but that's kind of where we're at currently. Capital improvement needs. You all heard last month that we have about $40 million in capital improvement needs. Now, all those don't have to happen at once, but we do have one crucial one at Crew Primary that is really top priority, that is about a $4 million investment, and that is a high critical need. So we want to look at the potential for applying for the state school construction assistance program, which is a grant. They provide up to 30% of a project cost. And I want to remind you that even if we apply for it and we are granted it, doesn't mean we actually have to use it. So it's a situation where it would be beneficial if we at least apply and see what we get, and then we can try to work out some of the other details. We still would have to come up with 70% of the remaining project, but that's some things that we can kind of talk through as we go through some of our budget work sessions and all of that. The one thing that construction assistance program requires is that we have an approved capital improvement plan, or at least the project has been approved by the board. So that will probably be something we will be talking very hard and heavy about within the next work session and into the next board meeting so that we can have everything prepped and planned for that to go, because that application opens in March. I don't know the date in March, but it opens in March.
And that approval from the board would be just the current, the $4 million at Crew Primary?
Yeah, it would just be to approve us to basically do the project and look for the funding for the project and all of that thing, and we'll figure out all the wording and verbiage for that, but.
It would be confined to that first immediate need?
More than likely, yes. And then just some notes and reminders. General Assembly does not convene until next Tuesday, the 14th. It is a 60-day long session, so they are expected to adjourn on April 13th. We do have hopefully a joint meeting of the Board of Supervisors and School Board, potentially around January 26th, but I don't think that's been quite confirmed yet. And then
Tomorrow.
We'll know tomorrow. So we'll hopefully have confirmation of that soon. You do have another budget public hearing on February 12th at the school board meeting, which hopefully at that point we'll be able to talk a little bit more about what revenues and expenditures are going to look like. And then just want to remind everybody, those who are watching at home, that Dr. Martin did send out an email, and I believe it's on the Facebook page, that there is a link to a NCPS budget survey. And this is open to families, to staff, and to the community at large. We really would like to have some input from our stakeholders about our budget, what they would like to see, different things, just so that we can have some input as we build this budget and future budgets going down the road. And I'd also like to remind you that we have already started trying to do this year some very strategic cost-saving measures. We were able, to fund our behavior specialists by not filling other positions that were no longer needed. Really trying to be intentional about what we're doing with our budget, how we're spending, looking very deeply at all of our positions, making sure that we have what we need and that we're funding what we need. And we're going to continue that with this budget cycle, really trying to make sure that we are being good stewards of the money that we receive, and doing what we need to do for the kids of Nottoway County. That was all.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Huge task.
What is our current ADM?
Mr. Chairman, I have one comment. The survey that was on the internet, 1 to 12, that's a unique way to try to rank things. Usually, now this is just the Sonny Abbott theory, when somebody says rate it 1 to 10, 1 not being good, 10 being really good, you only got to use the number once. So if you had a 1 for one item, you never got to use that 1 again. You had to use 2, 3, 4, you had to use the rest of them. So it was a little more difficult to, in my opinion, appropriately select where you think those 12 items should be. That's just me.
We appreciate the feedback.
Haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
Can we participate?
Yeah, yes.
There's another box. I filled it out and said board members, so you'll know if no one else has done it, it's me.
And ADM, I think it's at 1650 something.
1650 something is the current ADM.
I think, but I can tell you.
1658.
It's 1649.
1649.
0.89, if you want to figure out the 0.89
0.89.
above. Yeah,
Child.
1649, but I will tell you, we had 15 students in enrollment school sitting there waiting on January 5th that were in the process of enrolling now.
Okay,
And
15.
3 more since we've been back this week that we've been in communication about.
We tend to see a little spike at the first of the year, so hopefully that will matter, because it's the March 31 number that matters the most for us for payments.
What was the projection for this year? I don't recall.
1675. Right.
1,700 is what we
1,700,
budgeted on.
1675 for next year.
So we'll start adjusting spending based upon, the lower ADM, so.
And I know as board members, you're very much aware of this, that school finance works completely different than any other, but our community often doesn't understand how school finance works, and the share from the state versus the county. And the county doesn't fund our full budget. That's, as you know, that's when it comes into the 28% versus what we're getting from the state. And eventually it's going to go up because of that real property. So, roughly 70%. The county only funds that 28% of the budget. It's not like they have $40 million in their budget that they receive and, I'm giving that to the school division. No, they're funding the 28% of that budget, because oftentimes we hear people say, well, they get $40 million from the county, but we don't get $40 million from the county. We get 6 point some, which is the minimum that has to be given. So the next thing that we often hear told is, well, make the school system cut their budget. But if we cut, we're not making the required amount, which then means we don't receive our state shares. And the county has to then pick up the state shares of.
School division doesn't have any fat.
We don't have any fat in our budget, and to trim off. And so that's the disconnect that sometimes is not understood until you get involved in the school finance work. And not everything, it's just not, here's your money, put it wherever you need it. There's strings attached to a lot of it. It can only be here and it can only be there. And that's the piece, and I say this because I know people are watching and listening, is to educate our community and individuals about how school finance actually operates and where those figures and those numbers come from, and the effect on the number of positions we would have to cut. Because at the end of the day, our focus is on kids, and we can't make positive student outcomes if we don't have qualified staff, which is also, as Heather said, is why our focus is on ensuring that we have the best staff in front of our students, and our focus is on staff salaries this year, in particular teacher, to get them up to the level where we are actively being able to recruit the best teachers and retain. Because it's not just about recruiting, it's about retaining the staff that we have here, to have that continuity and learning with our students. And then, of course, as Heather said, the biggest thing in our budget focus needs to be on Crew Primary School and this HVAC system. As you are well aware, we had another leak over 2 days before Christmas was there. I think it was that Monday of winter break, and we were lucky it was caught. There were people in the building, and every time that happens, it's not just, we go and clean it up. That's time, that's energy, that's money to pay people to come in and fix it. That's damaging to materials. This time we were going to have to file an insurance claim because we had to replace a lot of different things in those rooms. And then on top of that, the issue that we haven't gotten to that we've talked about before, and we are up for indoor air quality this year, is we clean it up in the immediate, but the water that seeps.
Mold.
The mold, whatever it is that gets into underneath the walls, and what other damage is there underneath the floors. This time, the way it sat, it actually, because we took turns checking. I know Mr. Page went and checked, Carrie, Dr. Lewis, Robbie, Heather, myself, over the entire winter break, continuously went in every day to check to make sure we weren't surprised by anything else. But one day that I went in, I messaged Heather after. I said, they're going to have to really strip off everything because it had gotten into the wax that was on it, and it was all crackly on top. So they basically had to push it all off. So the HVAC at Crew it's an emergency need that we have got to focus on, because if not, we're continuously fixing breaks and different things, and you don't ever know. I mean, it just pops up, and especially when it gets hot and it gets cold and things expand and contract, and it's old pieces and new pieces. We did, Poor Robbie. We have a sensor that's on it now that notifies you if it senses any bit of a leak now. And we have set it to the highest sensitivity, which means when you do that, it's going off all the time. Whether it's just an ounce of condensation, it's going to go off and alert him. But I would rather it be going off than for us to come into a mess. Because I checked it on Christmas Day, but by the time I left on Christmas Day, I didn't mean that nothing happened after I left between the next morning, so it is a concern. It is a concern for our staff and to ensure that they're in the best atmospheres to work. So that is, out of everything other than staff salaries, the next highest priority we have is this HVAC system that we're dealing with at Crew Primary.
Ms. Outlaw?
Looking forward, and I went online, and you can do this and look up how different counties fund their share, how much do they fund. Nottoway pretty much does the bare minimum. There are many school divisions out there. Granted, some of them are in very populated areas that have a much higher tax base than we do, but they fund much, much, much more than the minimum required. And that is an important thing to note. That is the absolute minimum.
That's the bare minimum.
We have to remember, we're investing in our future.
Absolutely.
The one thing I don't think Heather mentioned, but we've talked about too, Heather, please jump in and correct me where I'm wrong in it. Last year, the House and the Senate both passed the 1 cent sales tax increase, but it didn't go all the way through. And a lot of school divisions are funding and it's for strictly school construction. That is where a lot of school divisions are funding. The ones that have, who do we talk about? Halifax
and Prince Edward.
Prince Edward. A lot of them seem to have funded their school construction, their additions that they've put on their new high schools, because their counties have gone and asked for permission, even though it wasn't passed as a blanket opportunity, they have asked permission to increase the sales tax, which generates the revenue for the school construction. So they're just, we have to think outside the box and how funding occurs. But again, at the end of the day, as you said, Mr. Outlaw, we're investing in our future and our children. And right now, we're at the bare minimum investment.
What is our future all about, if not our kids?
Exactly.
And it is my understanding that that 1 cent sales tax is going back through the General Assembly this year, and they do anticipate that the governor will sign that into law. So that would be of great help for us.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Ms. Meyer. All right. I don't believe we have anyone signed up for delegation from the public. Next on your agenda, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve consent agendas items A, B, C, D, and E.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Under action items, letter A, the appointment of a school board member to the Governor's School Joint Board. Dr. Martin?
Mr. Chairman, the school board needs to appoint a member to serve on the Governor's School Joint Board. Ms. Duncan previously served on the Governor's School Joint Board.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint our Representative Michelle Duncan as the board member to the Governor's School.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, side of aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Ms. Duncan is appointed to the school board, as school board member to the Governor School Joint Board. All right, letter B, the appointment of school board member to Career Technical Center Joint Board. Dr. Martin?
The school board needs to appoint 2 members to serve on the Career Technical Center Joint Board, 1 member for a 2-year term from January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2027, and 1 member for the same term, January 1st to December 31st, 2027. The status of members currently serving on the board is as follows. Mr. Outlaw's term expired on December 31st, 2025. Mr. Abbott's term expired on December 31st, 2025. And so the current active person is Mr. Wilson, and his term is from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2026. So you will need to appoint 2 members to serve on the joint board.
All right, do we have a motion to appoint 2 members to the Career Technical Center Joint Board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the appointment of Mr. Bill Outlaw for the 2-year term, Jan 1, 26 through December 31, 27.
And I likewise would move that we appoint Mr. Abbott for that same period.
It's been motioned to approve Mr. Sonny Abbott for a 2-year term on the joint board, January 1, 26 to December 31st, 27.
Do that one first.
All right.
A second on that one.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And we have another motion to approve. Who did I call out first? I forgot that.
Outlaw made the motion that Mr. Abbott serve.
You're going to approve Sonny?
So now we're doing Sonny.
Yes.
We had a motion and a second to approve Mr. Sonny Abbott.
We need a second.
We need a second.
We had a motion. We didn't have the second yet.
I'll second. I second you.
All right. So we have a motion, and now we have a second. To approve Mr. Abbott joint board for a 2-year term. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Let us see. What? What happened now?
You haven't yet, but you're about to hear your name, so.
Let us see. The appointment of school board member to serve as VSBA delegate for 2026. Dr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman, the school board needs to appoint a member to serve as delegate to the VSBA Assembly for 2026. You, Mr. Rowe, previously served as delegate to the VSBA Assembly for 2025.
You're already active.
I move that we appoint Keith Rowe to serve
Round of applause for it.
as the delegate to the VSBA 2026 conference.
And I second that.
It's been properly moved in second to appoint somebody named Damian Rowe as the VSBA delegate. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
You were quick to say aye there, Damien.
Might as well. I think they're used to me up there.
Because
Your term is already,
isn't up yet.
your term is not up yet.
Your term is,
You cannot resign, sir. Your term is not up till the end of this year. All right, letter D, the appointment of school board member to serve as the VSBA alternate delegate for 2026. Dr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman, the school board needs to appoint a member to serve as the alternate delegate to the VSBA Assembly. Mr. Abbott previously served as the alternate delegate to the VSBA Assembly.
All right, is there a motion for a member to serve as VSBA alternate delegate?
You good? So moved. Mr. Abbott.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second for Mr. Sonny Abbott to serve as VSBA alternate delegate for 2026. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Damien's twin.
Yes, indeed. We're twins, you know that. Letter E, the appointment of a school board member to the Special Education Advisory Committee. Dr. Martin.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Duncan was approved by the board to serve on the Special Education Advisory Committee as a parent. So the appointment is being requested for Ms. Duncan to continue on the SEAC board, but as a school board member.
Mr. Chairman, I will move to appoint Michelle Duncan as the SEAC board representative, school board representative.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, letter F, the adoption of the VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members. Dr. Martin?
Mr. Chairman and board members, in your packet this evening, the VSBA has asked all school board members to participate in the VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members. Previous boards have adopted the Code of Conduct, and you have a copy of the Code of Conduct within your packet this evening.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve the adoption of VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
All right, we have 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Letter G, the renewal of the VSBA policy contract. Dr. Martin?
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, the Virginia School Board Association's VSBA Policy Services Department offers school divisions in Virginia the latest policy updates according to law revisions within the Commonwealth. The agreement is in full force and effect for 1 year, 1 term, effective February 1st, 2026, and terminating on January 31st, 2027. The board's eligibility for policy services is conditioned on the board remaining a member of VSBA. So there is a recommendation for you to continue with VSBA policy services.
Move that we continue with the VSBA policy services.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I got a couple of questions. How much in total do we pay the VSBA annually?
I'll have to look that up.
Any rough estimate?
To be honest, no, because we haven't paid a VSBA bill other than like a registration for a conference since the spring. So I do not remember that number off the top of my head, so I don't want to guess and get it totally wrong.
And this is for membership dues and so forth. This is in total. A member cannot opt out of being a member, is that correct? A school board member cannot opt out of.
I would have to research that and give you a response to that.
Talking about the membership.
Can he opt out? You said as an individual member?
No.
Because it's a board, it's a board. Yeah.
So it's an all or none, and that's what you need to
It's
research.
the board's eligibility.
Well, no, I don't, because it's actually, the VSBA would be the board as a whole, not as an individual member.
Well, if you could get me that figure on how much we did pay.
Yes.
Can I ask for clarification just on that, not just dues, you want it, if we've paid it for professional development, all of those things?
Whatever.
Whatever we've paid, everything?
In total.
In total, okay.
All right. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
All right. Letter H, the Literacy Improvement Network Grant and the budget adjustment. Dr. Martin?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Nottoway Middle School has received notification that we were awarded the Literacy Improvement Network Grant for Nottoway Middle School for VDOE in the amount of $39,500. This was a competitive grant process. Not all school divisions were awarded grants. Funding will support high-quality literacy instructional implementation, any travel costs associated with attending any sessions, and the materials to support family awareness and engagement with literacy. Our focus is literacy, and it's also ensuring that our students with disabilities, which is one of our achievement groups that we want to focus on, are receiving high-quality instructional practices in the classroom. So I'm asking this evening for you to accept that grant. There is no match.
No local match.
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I will move to approve the Literacy Improvement Network Grant for the Nottoway Middle School, $39,500, and the associated budget amendment.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, letter I, calendar revision, 2026-27 school year. Dr. Greger.
Good evening, school board members, Dr. Martin, Nottoway employees, and guests. Tonight I'm presenting a request to revise the graduation date on the 2026-2027 student calendar. Through reflection and discussion, we recognize that some seniors who participate in late spring athletics have been impacted by the current graduation date. In some cases, students have missed their own graduation ceremony due to playoff schedules or other postseason athletic commitments. To address this concern, several alternative dates were reviewed. After careful consideration, Thursday, June 3rd, 2027 was identified as the most appropriate option. A Thursday evening ceremony would help avoid conflicts with VHSL events and allow student athletes the opportunity to fully participate in their academic commitments and their graduation. We are bringing this request forward at this time to provide families with ample notice more than a year in advance. And accordingly, and again, this is for June 2027. And I have copies of the 2026-27 current calendar for you to review.
I have a question.
Yes, what is this year's?
This year, if you look down on June, it should be,
Okay.
this currently would be June.
Mr. Chairman?
June of 27.
Can I clarify too? So as Dr. Greger said, we are not moving anything this year. Nothing is changing. This is for the next year.
27, correct.
Yes, 27. And the other thing was this was requested by the high school and their team. We did with them, and it is supported by the administrators and the athletic director at the high school.
So that would make Wednesday the 2nd the last day of school? Not the 4th?
So let me clarify the calendar for you. So we always build in possible makeup days into the calendar. So the last day of school would stay the same no matter what. That would still be what it is listed. So it's only changing the date of graduation, which is typically always for 27. Yeah.
27, yeah.
Not affecting any, Avery, you're good. You're still going to graduate on time.
But it's 3 days earlier. I'm not complaining, honestly.
Well, I'm a little, help me understand, if Friday the 4th is the last day of school, but you're graduating on the 3rd, they're going to come to school on the 4th?
No, sir.
Seniors always finish.
Seniors have a different obligations because we have to certify all of their grades and their records in advance of graduation. So typically, seniors finish before. They've always historically finished almost a week before. Yeah, and they.
Seniors.
Except seniors, it doesn't affect them. We have flexibility in how we can do their attendance and their obligations and satisfying all of those things. So everybody else, historically, everybody else comes back to school after graduation, except for the seniors, which finish up early. I guess it's their senior gift.
I didn't want the seniors to come back again, finish up, say bye to everybody.
Help me understand, what type of events are they missing?
Just seeing a little,
The athletes would be missing their state playoffs.
State playoffs. If they qualify, and what we have found in the past, there's 2 that fall on the first week, and even if you went later for the next week, there's something else that like softball or something falls the next week. But historically, we have had somebody that qualifies for state track, most definitely. And we have had that issue. This request has come up multiple times over the last few years to consider changing it. For whatever reason, calendar committee never really got that information, wasn't passed that way, but it did come directly to us this year, which is the reason why we sat down and met about it to make that adjustment. And then, of course, moving forward, because we're trying to approve calendars 2 years in advance for families. So last year they got this year's and the next year. So we'll start working on the following 27, 28, and 28, 29 calendar will be the next ones we work on, and that will automatically be taken into consideration when you see those calendars moving forward. And it also will be in the evening on that day and not the morning, which prior to, I don't know how many years back when it changed, but I know a lot of us that graduated.
You graduated in the evening.
I'll say, even we graduated in the evening. I think one of the reasons it may have changed was because of thunderstorms, but I can tell you the last few years, we've been holding our breath in the morning because of thunderstorms too.
Just beat it last year.
Yes, so it was historically before it was changed in the evening.
Graduated in the 1800s.
When they have these events, is it like the full weekend event?
Travel involved with it.
Leave on Fridays, compete on Saturday.
That's kind of the ideal thing with it being Thursday, and we would have, they'd be able to do both, because they'd be traveling the next day at the event on Saturday.
And I think, I don't remember who asked, when was graduation this year? Graduation is on June 6th. I didn't even have to look it up. I don't know why I just didn't ask Avery to tell us the date.
June the 6th.
So if you wait another year, Avery, you can.
It's a Saturday morning.
I've got this year.
All right, is there?
Mr. Chairman, I will move to change the calendar for graduation to June 3rd, 2027.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, Dr. Greger.
Thank you.
All right. There are no non-action items. Information items, the school progress reports, Dr. Martin.
Turn this evening over to the presentation this evening over to our principals to highlight the progress that they've made in their school improvement plans this year and to give you an update on that. It also provides them with an update to opportunity to practice some of the things that we have worked on over the course of 6 months. So just so you know, and they're laughing about it because Ms. Trainer can tell you what her skill is that she has worked on, and that is clapping her hands. So they are all laughing about it because we typically count how many times Ms. Painter claps her hands during a presentation. She talks with her hands, which is what most teachers do, is talk with their hands, except hers make noise when she's doing it. So we're gonna.
Do most superintendents talk with their hands too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, as you just see, I was doing this and I even clapped. So we long enough that we all started clapping when we present. So I'm actually excited for them to share with you the progress of their schools and their school improvement plan and their own personal, professional work that they have been doing. And they also, because it's on YouTube, they will get to use this as a critique session after for themselves. So now you get to add that to it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to.
All right. You are now the official clapping coordinator. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Are you a cheerleader?
Just like she said, I love to talk with my hands. I'm very
All right.
expressive. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and School Board. So my name's Amanda Painter, and I am here to introduce all of our principals and APs tonight, and we are going to highlight 4 areas for school progress. And I will start with Blackstone. Oh, shoot.
Get the clap. Bring the clapper back.
Real thing.
Turn it on.
No, I can't see. I can't see. Thanks, Lloyd. It's not working, see?
There you go.
Oh, there it goes.
You have to walk towards it.
Yeah, I'll tell you when.
Just so you know, that was not a skill that we practiced. We're not going to rate them down on clicking the projector thing.
So for school progress, we have 4 areas to highlight: academic supports, staffing supports, professional learning, and school climate. So at BPS, we work very hard in our PLC meetings weekly to work on alignment of our lesson plans. We look at student data to ensure that we are meeting our students' needs and targeting areas for improvement. And we individualize student reading plans. For our staffing support, we do lots and lots of formal and informal and walkthrough observations so that we can provide our teachers with coaching and feedback on their instructional practices. We also provide a lot of professional development. We do many PDs in our PLCs, as well as the county provides professional development to meet our teachers' needs and help them with their instructional practices as well. We acknowledge our staff's leadership and growth, and we celebrate them every opportunity we can. We also provide supports with our professional learning with weekly communication to our faculty and staff, as well as families. And at BPS, we have something called a BPS Hub, which houses every protocol, procedure, and forms that teachers would need, so that it's a one-stop shop and they don't have to go looking for it. We also work on school climate, family engagement activities at Blackstone Primary. We have 17 family engagement activities on schedule. We recognize our students for academics, behavior, and attendance. We have Students of the Month. Each 9 weeks, we provide academic and attendance awards and certificates. We do positive referrals, kindness, counts recognition. And we also have a student success team that meets frequently to go over student data, student academics, student behavior, and student attendance. So some of our progress for Blackstone Primary is our teachers have been doing an exceptional job using the VDOE standards of learning to ensure that they are aligning their lessons for Tier 1 instructional practices. Some of our highlights you heard tonight, Dr. Martin said, we are all fully accredited now, including Blackstone, and that is we had growth of 24.79%, which gave us a total of 76.2%. So we're very, very close to our goal, and we're going to continue to make those improvements to make our 80% goal. Our average attendance to this point this year is 94.52%. So we are going to continue with a lot of attendance initiatives and challenges to keep that average high. Our staffing supports, we provide meaningful tools for our teachers and strategies through our coaching, through our reading specialists and math specialists. And again, we implement professional development and provide our teachers with the strategies they need to be able to provide high-quality instruction in the classroom. Our teachers are getting comfortable with all these strategies and tools, and again, they are on our hub for them to utilize daily. We give clear and concise communication in our PLCs, in our weekly announcements, and our communication to our teachers and families. And for school climate supports, again, we've had 17 family engagement activities. We typically have at least 2 a month. We have an active PTA. We have engagements outside of the school. We had one at Sea Park for our Title I reading night, which was very successful. We just had our winter concert presentation, which was also very successful. All of our students got to perform for their families. We provide a lot of awards and certificates to celebrate all of our staff and students. And some of our next steps for these 4 areas for our academic supports, we are going to continue to meet weekly, reviewing student data because data drives instruction. We're going to continue to target the areas we need for instructional growth through our coaching, through our observations, utilizing all of our coaches to help that. We also want to recruit highly and retain highly qualified teachers, and we would appreciate the support with increasing our pay scale so we can be competitive with our surrounding counties here in Region 8. For our professional learning, we are constantly updating our communication. We have weekly communication through ThrillShare to our families, emails, and also working on our BPS website and updating that regularly for our families. We do have a focus to continue to build relationships with our families, to encourage our families to not only focus on the fun activities we provide, but also coming out to some informational and academic nights that we will be providing moving forward. So we have planned 2 SOL information nights for our families to participate in so that they can be involved in preparing their students for SOLs. And we also have a survey that is on our Title I flyer for parents to give input and feedback so that we can use their suggestions to grow. So we are going to continue to be part of Nottoway, and we are committed to excellence at Blackstone Primary School. So I'm now going to turn it over to Lloyd Page, the principal at Crew Primary.
Thank you very much. So we're Crew Primary, Miss Leslie Clark, wave. She's the assistant principal there. Second year.
I'm sorry, it's Painter.
And that's Miss Nicole Moore, the associate assistant principal at Blackstone. Then Miss Painter was too worried about clapping and forgot to introduce. All right, so CPS, the basics, very similar to the other schools we're going to talk about. We do our weekly PLCs, which are our planning and data meetings. And what we're very successful at Crew is we maximize our teacher, we maximize the resources we have, and there are outside resources like TTAC and the VLP. So it is a lot of internally and external supports there. And then lesson plan review, staffing supports, observations and coaching and feedback, recruiting, and Ms. Painter talked about, but recruiting is attracting new staff members. It's also recruiting and retaining our staff members. We're very fortunate that we have awesome staff members. We want to keep them. So not only do we need to recruit new people, we got to recruit the in-house people, make sure they stay. And if it's a long-term sub, or sub, try to get the long-term sub, try to get them in an instructional position, and then kind of work with that model. Regular communication with staff, professional learning, faculty meetings, PLC, professional development, division-wide professional development, school climate, the MTSS matrix. That's multiple tiers of student supports, giving students what they need at their level in terms of behavior and expectations. One of the things that we're focusing on right now, a couple crew maintenance workers, the town of Crew, fussed at me because there's a pump station behind us, and there's random objects that don't deserve to be in there. So every day this week I've been announcing to the students and staff not to flush stuff down the toilet because it ruins the system. And when we had that power outage that Dr. Martin mentioned a couple weeks ago, right before break, they went in and tried to work on it, and they noticed a lot of issues, and a couple of times over break that I go back over there. So stuff like that. And also we're on the verge of, our attendance was awesome this week, but we're on the verge of people getting sick. A couple of staff members are sick, so we're really, really worried about every morning. I'll talk about don't touch your face, we're so safety stuff with that. School climate, that positive referrals. Miss Clark loves positive referrals. She literally runs up to, when I'm doing my announcements at 7:55 in the morning, she'll run up from car rider when we have positive referrals, so she grab the kids and give them their free book and make sure they feel special with that. Kindness recognitions and parent communication, we do weekly and as needed. Where we are currently, I'm comfortable that we're near full use of high quality instructional materials by all staff members in all subjects. We're not 100% yet, but we will get there, and I'm happy where we are. Approved alignment to SOLs. The walkthroughs that we did in our system is Talent Ed performs the specific program for this. We are at as of Monday, we're at 337 completed informal observations and then about 40 formal observations. Every teacher's had one formal, and then the ones that are on, I guess continuing, is that the right term? The continuing evaluation, they've received 2, the ones that needed it. So as we come out, I think middle of February, middle of March, they'll need to be completed, the 2 or 3 of them. Staff sports, again, we continue to look at our schedule. We have a round of testing going on right now that started Monday. And some kids are going to come into services and go out of services with our reading program. So we'll look at the schedule once that's finished and try to maximize that. Professional learning, we do a great job of sending out our weekly emails to staff. I think, Ms. Clark, you guys look forward to them on Sunday nights, right? Yeah, okay, yeah. So we do that every week, and then midweek I send something out usually. Then we see a constant improvement in data. School climate, our chronic absenteeism, this is hard for people to understand. If a student misses school for any reason, suspension, excused absence, unexcused absence, parent note, doctor's note, it goes against the school. And if they're over 10%, so right now we're about 80 days, I think. If they're at 8 days or more, they're considered chronically absent. And parents don't understand that. They think they have a doctor's note that it's okay. And it is okay to an extent in terms of truancy, in terms of the legal aspect. But in terms of chronically absent, it's an issue. So we're on par with last year. Overall, our attendance is 94.5. And then referrals are a little bit higher, but there's less student offenders. So our total number is higher, but the number of students that are participating in the referrals is lower, if that makes sense. All right, where we're going. We're going to continue to monitor the high-quality instructional material use. We're going to ensure timeliness of coaching and feedback discussion, lesson plan review, and then we're going to use the data to drive instruction. And right now, like I said, we do have the VAL screening coming up, and we have SGAs and the benchmarks coming up for a couple of subjects. We're going to use that data to improve our instruction. Same thing like I talked about earlier, continue to work to retain current staff and recruit new staff. And one thing I'm pretty excited about, well, I'm not excited about her retiring, but we have a 3rd grade teacher that's retiring after many years in education. She's been with us 4 years now. But she's recruiting her replacement, trying to recruit her replacement with her old student teachers. And then I have a music teacher, she's recruiting people. So it's cool to see our staff members recruiting other staff members, or potential staff members. So I love to see that. And continue scheduling support staff to best address the gaps. And one of the improvements we want to do is improve our use of faculty meetings, make it more relevant to the teachers, make it more relevant to our staff, so it's beneficial to them. We do it monthly. And leverage TTAC support, training and technical assistance center. Training? Okay. So we have several people that come in across the division, and we're going to utilize them more, leverage them more. And then school climate, we have attendance incentives coming up, and then we'd like to do the MTSS push as well. That's the expectations review. So that is crew. Next up is Dr. Smith with Nottoway Intermediate School, and I think he's going to be respectful enough to introduce Dr. Proctor, his assistant.
You know I will.
Yeah. Give me a click. You
click for me.
All right, cool.
Are you waiting to throw me under the bus?
Click it, sorry.
All right, good evening. I'm Dr. Smith, very proud principal of NIS. And I'm going to acknowledge my assistant principal, Dr. Kevin Austin.
I acknowledged all of them.
You did.
Chairman is not recognized.
And so like everyone else talked about, we have 4 areas that we're going to talk about, which makes, just kind of talking about NIS. The academic supports, the staffing supports, professional learning, and school climate reports. Academically, weekly PLC meetings, we all do it weekly PLC meetings. We do about six a week. We do English, math, science, and social studies. We have a lot of informal walkthroughs. We do 3 times a day, which runs up to around 200 for us. Individual reading plans, we're about 80% of our reading plans in VALs. Again, we want to make sure we're aligning our lesson plans, alignment, and making sure that we have the assessment, the written, and the taught, and we want to make sure we're pushing that in our school. and staff and support. We want to support us by, our team or our teachers by making sure we're having the observations. And we do a lot of observations, and that coaching feedback is very important, and we continue to do that with our coaching questions and coaching responses and feedback to our teachers. This is very important. And then our Teacher of the Month. We do a Teacher of the Month every month, but we do something a little different. We actually, for our attendance for our teachers, we give an award for that. So in each quarter, if our teachers here, hey, we're going to buy them lunch. So that's what, that's something a little different, and we're pushing that, and we keep pushing it for next quarter as well. And also for weekly staff emails, we have a monthly message that I send out that talks about information about our school, about any PDs that are coming up, anything from Dr. Martin. So these monthly messages are very important that we push out. And again, our staff events, we have our duty-free lunch. We have a lot of food trucks that come. Devin does a good job of bringing them in. But those are things that are very important just to get the morale of our teachers. And then obviously professional learning, faculty meetings, they're very important. We actually had a faculty meeting that we did with TTAC, which talked about the first 21 days. And then we had a PD that talks about this data, just bringing the data, because it's very important to try to improve on that so we can move our school. And then PLCs, PDs, talking about looking at lesson plan review, looking at data in our PLCs, and then our division-wide PDs. Miss Dr. Martin does a great job of having those quarterly, and we can look at different areas as far as classroom management, looking at history and social science, alignment. So all these things are very important about teachers' movement. And then school climate, Student Teacher of the Month, do that newsletter, bring that out, monthly communication. Our attendance support team, we have every Friday, we meet with our attendance team, with guidance counselors, with the assistant principal, with our guidance counselor, just to make sure that we are doing and looking at attendance, improving our attendance in our chronic absenteeism. And then Lexia and Zern initiative, we have put that in place that our classes are fighting each other, trying to get numbers up for Lexia and Zern. And we have a big event in end of January that we're going to have a big ice cream event for the winter. And so every day I get on there and talk about how we can push and get our scores up for Lexia and Zern. And then our family engagement, we just had our Veterans Day program in November. And we just had our charity hoops, which are our students brought canned goods in each to help with a charitable organization. So we're donating that, and we had a big basketball game. And I got a few points, but we did beat the middle school team. But next up, we also coming up, when we talk about our Centers for Our Behavior, we have coming up our February dance, which is going to be tied to our PBIs and attendance and behavior. And again, we're going to have our sneaker ball in May. So we're really pushing that and some of the good things that happen in IS. Now, next up is what we're doing for our progress. Our current academic progress. Last year, our biggest score was issue was science. It was at 33%. Right now, for our unit tests, we're pushing up to 65. And so obviously our target is going to be 85, and so we can get those scores. Math at 68 right now, and last year was around 57. So we're right in the middle. We have our benchmarks coming up. We have our student growth assessments coming up as well. So we're going to push that. And then our English scores, or last year at 57, just raw score. Right now we're at 67. I can test. Again, we're going to push to get to that 85% so we can move to school. We're going to continue to do our high quality instructional materials, making sure we're looking at HMH, looking at Hampton, looking at math space. And then again, we want to make sure we're evolving our intervention with our Lexia and Zern. And we have a class that has all our students run through Lexia and Zern, and that's very important. But also, our 6th grade team, every morning, Monday through Friday, we're doing Lexia. And so this is another intervention that's going to help our math and English scores. Again, as far as support, we want to get the best to come to NIS, and so we're going to continue to recruit and do that. And then professional learning, we want to have our collaboration with TTAC. Again, like we had just talked about having our last faculty meeting, having the first 21 days introduction. School climate, current attendance, we're about at 95%. Last year was 92%. So we're way on our way to being successful in that. Lloyd talked about chronic absenteeism. We are at 16, and last year was 17. So we're improving on that. We got to get down to 10%. That's what our mark is. And again, we'll continue to do our behavior expectations. We're going to do a reset in mid-January when I talk about all expectations in our school as far as our classroom, our hallways, our bathrooms. So we're going to go over that and talk to our 5th and 6th graders and make sure we have an assembly that comes at it. So that kickback for that is going to be our February dance that we're going to push, and then our sneaker ball in May. And again, we already talked about all our great events we had just previously, our Veterans Day event and our charity hoops. So what's next for us? Our academic support, our next steps, academic support, we're going to continue to do what we're doing now, which is having those observations, getting in those classrooms 3 times a day, having feedback, having those coaching questions, and making sure we're doing, focus on our high quality instructional materials. And again, as far as data needs, we're going to drive, we're going to have our CFAs coming up in January. We have our SGAs, our winter growth assessments. We have our benchmarks coming up, which is we'll put in place, which is really gives us a nice snapshot of where we are. And we're going to use that, our teachers are going to use that to drive instruction. Again, we want to be the best. We want to get our staff and IS up to par to we can achieve and run and do things. And then continue that collaboration with TTAC. They've been very helpful, and we want to make sure we can move that because one of the areas that we need to improve on, which is our SPED population and also our general ed. And again, we want to continue our attendance incentives and our school-wide incentives, like we talked about charity hoops. We got our coming up in February, our dance that's tied into behavior and attendance, and then also our sneaker ball. And then in May, our Gear Up for SOLs. So we're moving forward for NIS, and I'm happy. And next up is Miss Saunders from the middle school.
Good evening. I want to introduce my assistant principal, Shalonda Watkins. She's my partner. So I want to make sure I let you know that everything we do together. So there's nothing that I'm going to point out that she's not a huge part of. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm seeing some trends in what you're hearing. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time going back through some of the same things because division-wide, we're doing some amazing things in our buildings, and Nottoway Middle School is no different than that. As far as our academic supports, we too are doing PLC meetings. We have actually invited TTAC to come in and do trainings with us during our PLC. They have been a wonderful asset to us and provided us with some instructional strategies that we are currently implementing. We too do formal and informal observations and are providing feedback for those, and we're using our high quality instructional materials, Hampton, and we have used HMH this year for our English department, so that's been quite successful. Staffing wise, we do recognitions for our teachers each month. We send out weekly emails, we do communications, but we have also organized monthly staff events where we are trying to get our staff together outside of school one afternoon every month. And those have been very, very successful. We've gotten to know each other on a whole different level, and the staff seems to very much enjoy those opportunities to try to create that family atmosphere that we want to have in our building. Professionally, we're doing our faculty meetings and we're doing professional development in them. We're also doing our division PD and using PLCs to do training, as I stated before. Climate-wise, Student of the Month, The kids get very excited about it. Many are embarrassed when we ask to take pictures, but they like it. Some have asked to call home and let parents know before the postings even happen. So that's been quite successful. We do a weekly parent newsletter, and we have our student success team meetings every Friday where we go over things like attendance and who needs some extra help and who needs to be on our radar. Okay. As far as our school improvements, we have added math space, so we are starting, that's our new math textbook series. The teachers are getting used to it. It's not in full implementation, but so far the reviews have been quite good. They are using particularly the online resources they found to be very useful. We've also implemented our VALS testing, which is helping our English department quite a bit because we have targeted reading supports now. It's given us a lot of information that we're using to really get to the root of the problems that we have with kids and reading. So that's been very eye-opening, I think, for all of us across our content areas. Staffing supports, we continue to work on recruiting and retaining. We're trying to create that family atmosphere, and that helps teachers want to stay with us. If they feel heard and they feel like they are a part of a family, they are more likely to stay with us and remain at Nottoway Middle School. Professional learning, we continue our collaboration with TTAC and outside sources and continue to do our division PD opportunities. We're going to keep our climate with our clear communication. One of our focus areas has been consistency in communicating, particularly with parents and students regarding behavior and consequences. And I think we've had a huge impact in that. Our building has been much, much different this year in the hallways with student behaviors and the discipline that we're seeing. Very, very different from last year. Okay. Next steps. Two that I'm particularly excited about. We are putting 2 school-wide initiatives into place. One is a writing goal and one is a reading goal. And we are working with every class and every teacher to implement writing and reading every day. So we've had to do a little bit of training because some of our electives aren't used to doing writing every day or reading, but we're working on teaching them and showing them how they can incorporate something as simple as writing a paragraph at the end of a lesson. What did I learn? How did I learn it? What do I know? How can I prove it? So I'm very excited to get reading and writing in our entire building all day, every day. Staffing, we are working with our staff to get feedback from them. What's working, what's not working, what is most beneficial to our students, so that we can start working things to cover those instructional gaps and to use our personnel to the best of our abilities. Professional learning, we're going to continue to train, continue to work with our partners. We'll be implementing math space even more as the year continues, and I'm excited about that. And as far as school climate supports, we're working on attendance incentives for our faculty and staff as well as our students. And we're working on the development of more family engagement activities to try to get more of our middle school parents into our building. That's usually the time where it shifts for parent support. Elementary gets a lot, and they start not showing up as much in that middle school, high school range. So we're going to try to see if we can't get them back into our building and let the kids know that parents really are an important part of what needs to happen. All right, I will turn it over to Mr. Wilson, high school.
Thank you very much.
Right, good evening. I will introduce myself. Ms. Murder. And kind of like Ms. Saunders said, a lot of what we are doing is kind of in line throughout the district, so I won't move through these things. With our academic supports, we also have our weekly PLC meetings. We have success classes, which we started last year, and these classes are specifically designed to help some students who have had trouble passing the SOL test. And that's something we've implemented this year that we've had some success with and look forward to continuing to do it. We also develop individual plans for students to prepare for those tests, whether it be tutoring after school or sometimes they'll get pulled from certain activities. They prepare them to retake the test, so we try to be very strategic with that. We do our formal observations and we're working hard to improve on the feedback we give to our teachers. Our staffing supports, our observations, feedback well. We try to make sure they have what they need. And we work hard at trying to recognize our teachers through, with their attendance on their birthdays or different things. We try to recognize them and make sure they are appreciated. Our professional learning, have weekly communication with the staff. During our PLC meetings, from time to time, we include some PD in there. And then again, with our formal observations and our informals, where we try to really make sure they have what they need. In our climate, we have our student success team, like some of the other schools, where they focus on discipline, attendance, and the grades of certain students. Have individual meetings. And something that I take pride of at the high school, that we work on doing some community events, because I like to include all of the schools. Like, we've done our Trunk or Treat, which is an annual event, and Christmas we just did a Polar Express movie that I think was very successful. We invited a lot of the elementary students, and it went well. All right, some improvement progress. Like everyone else, we're using the high quality instructional materials that's provided by the district. We are currently looking at restructuring our PLCs. Not that anything that they weren't going well, but we want to get more out of it, so we're going to restructure our PLCs slightly. Providing opportunities for the staff to voice their suggestions through monthly surveys. We take advantage of the division PDs and like I said, we try to offer some school-based PDs. Our school climates, we focus on consistency and enforcing the school rules. And another emphasis we've had this year is our communication. We send out a weekly newsletter, just communicating with the teachers weekly and try to stay on top of that. And now we're scheduling individual meetings with some of the students, as well as contacting the parents that have poor attendance, discipline, and academics, to try to get them back on track before it's too late. All right, next steps for us at Nottoway High School. We're really focusing on CTE credentialing for students. We're working on increasing the number of students that are taking the ASVAB test. And most people think the ASVAB test is military, but it's actually one of the most comprehensive career exploration assessments tools that students have at no cost. And that's something we're trying to change their mindset, because ASVAB is not just military. We're trying to increase the number of students enrolled in dual enrollment career and technical education programs, and through the partnership with Southside, we have a lot of new classes that we're offering this year, and we're trying to get the word out about those classes. We are going to be hosting a college and career fair in the spring, and we did a career fair in the fall, and we are working on launching a credit recovery initiative similar to what I was saying, where kids are having trouble. We're trying to get the credit recovery as quick as possible until, so it's not late in their career where they're trying to catch up on credits. All right, thank you all, and now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lauren Sledzinski.
Make sure, okay. I'd like to introduce my assistant principal, Lauren Sledzinski. Members of the board, Dr. Barber, thank you guys for having me here today.
That's why you're so hard working, the two of you.
Yeah, there's two. I've cloned myself. YATC, a lot of our stuff is very similar to what you've already heard tonight, so I'm just going to briefly go through some of this. One of the great things about us is that we get to do real-world applications. Our students are taking the knowledge they're learning and they're applying it and starting to work on actual things for the community. You may or may not be getting something next month to kind of get that. I can't confirm or deny, but somebody already spilled the beans. So that's one of the things. Also, our formal and informal observations and stuff. I want to thank Dr. Martin for allowing me to come to the principal meetings and getting the training as well to help myself to improve that, and for the principals and assistant principals here who have also helped me out. For our staffing and supports, we do have coaching and feedback. One thing we started this year, or I say we, one thing I started this year was the one-on-one with our new teachers. Many of my teachers come straight from industry, so we really want to get them that kind of acclimated to the school system and to the school environment before they are able to get into their classroom management classes and things like that. So we're there to support them as well. Recognizing our teachers, of course, through birthdays and our CTE month, which is February, just putting that out there, which is next month, and of course our accreditations. I have on the next slide, you'll see something very exciting. For our professional learning, I do put out a weekly roundup, is what we call for our teachers, so they kind of know what's coming up next and have some things like that. We're also providing opportunity for our teachers to take professional development. Again, I want to thank Dr. Martin and Nottoway County Public Schools for allowing our teachers to come over and participate in your professional development. Our teachers also have the ability to collaborate with other teachers if they choose and to attend some of their summer conferences. And the one-on-one I already mentioned. School climate, student provided services. If you are lucky enough to stop by on a Friday, and I will open this up to any principal or assistant principal, you may or may not get a treat. Our culinary classes, we have some other fun projects coming up that you may want to bid on eventually coming up. Throw that out there right now. As well as our auto bodies that they're doing, getting ready to work on the cars. And we also have, I'm very excited to announce, we have 7 students that will be attending the Skills USA District 12 competition for cosmetology, aesthetics, fantasy mannequin, fantasy makeover, which is a team of 3, and they have to do everything including making the outfit, applying the makeup for the theme, and doing, of course, the hair. And that will take place on January 25th. Which I believe is Monday. It was rescheduled because of the snow, unfortunately, so we'll have that coming up. Otherwise, I would have had it ranked. Now I'm ready. Yes, now I'm ready. Thank you. For school improvement progress, we have teachers that are, of course, using our VDOA-approved curriculum. We've paired all of our curriculums to make sure the students are getting their 3 credits for the amount of hours they are with us. And I'm excited to announce we just received earlier this week our Board of Nursing accreditation. That is something we have to go through every 2 years. So that was all Miss Neller. I cannot take any of, or Miss Neller, sorry, I cannot take any of the credit for that. Miss Neller did an amazing job putting everything together, and it is a lot. It is, the Board of Nursing is with us for 8 hours, and they go through every little thing, and it is a binder. So I'm very excited and proud of her. Staffing supports, again, PD sessions, one-on-one for new teachers, professional learning. We instituted Wayground across the board this year for our teachers, and they're using that to drive their data to see where they need to improve instruction, or maybe if the students are, what they're grasping, what they're not grasping, and how we can really use that data-driven instruction. And they have their summer conferences coming up. We'll be starting to register for those. As far as our school climate goes, I would like to report that we have a 37% decrease in absences this year from this time. All right. So from last year, yes, very excited. And I attribute that a lot to my teachers really contacting parents, talking with the students, making the classes interesting, but also with a lot of the stuff we did over the summer with the letters going home, our highly suggested parent open house that they attend, so they really understood what the commitment was their children were signing up for, particularly when it comes around cosmetology with the 840 hours, nursing with their mandated clinical hours and things like that. And very, very excited to say that we had a 49.96% increase in our first-year student enrollment this year. Right. So compared to last year, we almost doubled our student enrollment for our first-year students. So where is this going to lead us? Well, we're going to continue our VDOAU competencies. We're preparing for our credentials this year. We are continuing to work to really strive for the excellence that Nottoway County Public Schools has demonstrated for us. So we're very excited with that. We continue our one-on-ones, professional learning, summer conferences. Really want to increase our student enrollment for the 26-27 year, and of course increase our visibility with the NTC. And at this time, I'm going to invite all of the principals back up here to answer any questions that the board may have. Or they're just going to stand there. Okay, take back the support.
She has reneged her support for you. Anyone have any questions for
any of them?
Any of them. Any of them. Other than asking why Ms. Painter didn't introduce her.
System was.
You will be on report for the rest of the year.
That's a reminder.
We're a pair.
Any questions?
Well, thank you guys.
Thank y'all very much. Thank you very much. next is the Special Education Progress Report from Dr. Gravely.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Martin. Hopefully that will be up soon, but I am excited to be here tonight to share the progress that the Special Education Department has been working on so far this school year. So we just maybe once we get to present.
Can't see it.
Huh?
Can't see it. There we go.
Shooting in the dark.
Go back to page.
Let Lloyd have it.
It's not us.
Guys, good night.
So we just completed our December 1 child count. Thanks, Mr. Page. And we are currently serving 297 students with disabilities. 297, let's clarify that. 297 students with disabilities. And that is inclusive of all the settings that we serve our students. So they could be in homebound, they could be in private day placements, they could be private school placed students that we serve for speech. So in all capacities, 297 students. So Dr. Lewis had shared with you previously the areas of concern that came out from our monitoring that occurred last spring. So the areas of progress that I'm going to share are specific to those areas that we were tasked with making improvements in. So those, as a reminder, were extended school year processes, inclusion at the elementary level, providing postgraduate opportunities to increase those, documented procedures for providing assistive technology, common planning time for co-teaching teams, academic and career plans, and working collaboratively with VDOE and TTAC. So extended school year. Training has been provided through the monthly special education meetings at each school, so it was targeted specific at each school through the months of November and December. And during those trainings, we focused on understanding what the purpose of extended school year is, to make sure everybody has the same understanding, understanding what it is not, understanding the eligibility criteria for determining the extended school year services, understanding those key vocabulary terms so everybody understands what the terminology means, and procedures for determining ESY and the documentation that is needed to justify whether, yes, it's needed or why it's not, and what that service delivery model looks like. So it could be a lot of different things. So that way everybody, all the teachers have a clearer understanding and it's documented in a document so everybody has the same information. Inclusion opportunities at the elementary school. We have worked with TTAC to provide that support, specifically in our early childhood special education classrooms, as well as our K through 4 support. We have offered numerous, since the school year began, professional development opportunities on inclusion and what special education is and what it is not. Monthly TTAC meetings are held with the central office staff to look at needs and area of focus for professional development opportunities. Schools are currently, they were working on their self-assessment to reflect on their own inclusive practices, and that includes, we sent out a survey to staff to complete to be able to kind of measure where each individual school thinks they are, and then we are completing a document that I will submit in February. So they are currently in process of doing that. And we just worked with TTAC yesterday in our principal and AP meeting to help them have a better understanding on what the phases look like of where we are. This one's a lot. I'm not going to read it to you, but all the work that the high school is working to provide our postgraduate opportunities, they have been working collaboratively with our maintenance department to help provide opportunities for our students to assist with projects around the school. They've been working on interview skills and working on resumes. We do have the Education for Employment class at the high school. They hosted a coffee and chat back in October where parents and students could attend and receive information from different agencies such as DARS, PTSI, CTI. The Cougar Cafe gives our students hands-on opportunities. And the upcoming events, which are probably the most important because all the other things are things that have already happened. They, students in the Start on Success program will be starting their paid internships in January. They are planning to do a career fair in March, planning on attending the transition fair in the spring. They are working on planning a virtual session to link families with outside agencies, planning more events in the spring to link, sorry. They're going to plan more events to offer families access to those outside agencies, and students will be attending PERT at Woodrow Wilson in the spring, which PERT is that post-secondary education rehabilitation transition program at Woodrow Wilson. Assistive technology was an area, and so I have worked collaboratively with Sharon Taylor Haggett with TTAC we had an existing plan, but we have updated it and revised it so it is current. And we have also been working collaboratively with TTAC to complete AT assessments as they come up as a need. So we are working in the right direction for our assistive technology determinations. Common planning, this was already in the works last year as we were working on the master schedule for the current school year, but the work is already started as we are moving into the 26-27 school year to make sure to the greatest extent possible that co-teachers have common planning with their co-teachers. So it started last year, but scheduling is already in the process for this year, so trying to make sure that that is a focus. Career plans, again, we've had lots of professional development opportunities that have happened, but LaTondra Wright and Jennifer Askew Collins with TTAC held a professional development training on October 8th to address career and academic plan alignment with school counselors and our special education teachers. So they are currently working on that. And we do lots of work with TTAC, lots of different capacities. But LaTondra Wright has been specifically working with our transition, with providing professional development, coaching for special education staff to connect with agencies to address students' secondary outcomes. Mary Tobin has been working specifically with our early childhood special education classrooms to increase our opportunities for inclusive practices. Suzanne Crosdale has been focusing on our high leverage practices and instructional strategies, and specially designed instruction that arises out of those tier 1 implementation of those high quality instructional materials. And then Sharon Taylor Haggett has been working specifically in the areas of assistive technology. Compliance was a big issue, and that's why we are working on our corrective action plan. But just so you know, I submitted our corrective action plan and it was approved to the Department of Ed. I also, along with Ms. Meyer, we completed the corrective action plan for the special education fiscal monitoring. And we submitted that to the Department of Ed for approval. And I am currently revising and updating the current special education procedural manual. It has been a labor of love. I am finally at the point that other people, I'm asking to read it for, because I've looked at it for so long that I need other people to share in it, but we are much closer to being able to share it than we were a couple of months ago. So that's going to make a lot of difference because everything's in one place to be able to refer to. CCEIS, of course, special education has lots of these acronyms, but it is the Comprehensive Coordinated Early Intervening Services, which we were identified as being having significant disproportionality based on race and ethnicity in identifying students specifically for intellectual disabilities. So we are required to set aside 15% of our funding to address how we're going to correct that. So it was for this current year, which that plan just got approved in November 6th, and I have to submit the plan for next school year in May. So that will be brought to you when I do the annual plan. Additional items. So we have increased the number of members of our local SEAC, which you have heard in previous meetings. We have advertised and identified several individuals that have expressed interest and applied to serve as our surrogate parents if the need should arise. So we do have a list of individuals that are willing to serve in that capacity. We have provided professional development trainings to special education staff in coordination with the Virginia Department of Education and TTAC. Such supports as transition, de-escalation strategies, assistive technology, explicit instruction, math and high-level leverage practices, IEP writing, IEP goal writing, and progress monitoring. Provided PD to staff on understanding special education and ensuring implementation of IEPs. Learning strategy toolkits with TTAC. We have done specific PD for our early childhood special education classrooms as far as curriculum and how to align that to meet the needs of their students with Frog Street. Training for all staff of confidentiality of student records. So Dr. Lewis and I went around to each school and provided that training, and documentation has been received that training has been done. And I'm creating with help from TTAC and Mary Tobin, a procedural manual for inclusive opportunities for our preschool students. So we will have everything covered, manuals for everything. Questions?
The state loves manuals for things.
They do, because if it's not written down, then it's not happening.
Yep.
Right, it didn't happen.
Thank you for the opportunity to share what we are doing.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you for doing it.
Yes, indeed. All right, is there an ANTC report?
I believe Ms. Sledzinski covered that rather well.
She covered it all. Thank you. All right, is there a governor's school report?
No, not at this time.
Not at this time. Is there a SEAC report?
No, sir.
All right. Is there a student liaison report?
There is. So, good evening. We don't have much because we've been on break for a really long time.
Enjoyed it, didn't you?
I did. I wouldn't mind another week. So the high school is, before we left, we had to move clubs because we had a lot of testing going on. So starting tomorrow, our clubs are finally back, and we'll have them every single Friday for January and February. So the last time we had it was October 24th. So we are very excited.
Yes, indeed.
We only have one college trip coming up right now, and that's the VCU senior field trip on January 23rd. On Tuesday, January 6th, the fire science class took a trip to the Petersburg Fire Department, and the students met with their chief. They took a tour of the fire department, and they had the opportunity to ask questions about the day-to-day life there, and so they fully understand what they're going into. For juniors and seniors, we're so excited, but we're marking our calendars and saving the day for prom of 2026, and that's for April 25th, and the location's still being determined right now. In athletics, there's not much at all because of our big break. So right now, Anton Carter did receive All-State for football. And on January 28th, Nottoway will be hosting the James River District Championship for wrestling. So that's all that we have right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Now we're down to the superintendent report. Dr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, so I'll start with this. Mr. Outlaw, you requested the VSBA expenses, and I can tell you we are Johnny on the spot. I have those numbers for you. Heather is back there furiously working to get them out. So for fiscal year 25, the total amount expended to VSBA was $31,058.37.
31,068.37.
31,058.37.
Thank you.
And for current, up to date, is $3,725.
Thank you very much.
So therefore, I don't have to send it to you later.
I was just
a
curious.
significant change.
Well, not just a significant change, but you know what was $31,000 that we spent?
Well, last year we had superintendent search.
You did have superintendent search in last year, and then, of course, remember that takes into consideration any trainings that are attended by any board member or superintendent. So for the rest of my report, I just wanted to give that to you, and that way I don't have to email it to you later on this evening, since, I mean, they work quick back there.
Thank you.
So I do have to say, I say this often, I know people hear me say it, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it, and that we didn't have excellent staff in Nottoway County Public Schools, so we're very fortunate. So again, I want to recognize the continued dedication and commitment of our staff across the school division. This is really a busy time of year for us when you get into January and all the things that are going on in the second semester. But our teachers, our custodians, our cafeteria workers, our administrators, maintenance, support staff, they continue to show up each and every day focused on student learning, the well-being of our students, and ultimately our student success. And they're amazing, and we're very fortunate to have them across every school, every department in the school division. They are really working for We Are Nottoway, and I cannot say that enough, because you don't go into education for the money that goes along with it. You go into it for the success of students, and I have to say they are extremely dedicated across the board.
Yes, indeed.
And like I said, this is busy a time of year because it's budget season for us. We are fully engaged in this budget season. We started it months ago at the central office level, working and trying to figure out, once you get one budget passed, you're already working on the next budget and what do you need, and those type of things. And so we are really still examining the alignment of our resources, our priorities, our student needs to stay focused on the outcomes, and not just outcomes, but sustainability. Because we don't want to add something to the budget that we're not going to be able to sustain long term. So really looking at all of those aspects to ensure that we build the best budget possible that really focuses on outcomes for our students and what our students need in order to be successful. The division participated in the active shooter and reunification drill before break, actually, I guess it was the first day of break for students and teachers, but admin, and we had people that volunteered to participate with us, with local law enforcement and emergency management. It was an opportunity for us to assess our preparedness and response, and so it helped us identify what we need to work on, where we have gaps, where we need to come together and have additional conversations. And we're having a debriefing next week. We had a mini debriefing that day, but we're having a debriefing with our partners next week as part of our quarterly safety review. So we do meet quarterly with our SROs. The sheriff, if he's available, or his captain, one of the two will come. Our emergency coordinators, local rescue squads and stuff, they all come, and we come together to see what are our needs and where do we need to focus. So we're going to continue to make those adjustments and address them as we go through the process. What we really need to what people to understand is what, if there was an emergency situation, which none of us want, but we need to prepare and we need to plan so that we have all these things in place. Where is our reunification sites? Where do our parents go in those processes? Because we don't ever want anybody flooding the school or those type of things, because we need to work to get our buildings secure as soon as possible. That is also the reason why we take a lot of pre-safety measures in place. We don't want to be reactionary in anything. We want to be proactive in what we're doing and ensuring that our buildings are safe and secure up front, so we don't get into these situations. However, we do want people to know what to do in an emergency situation, or if you get into a situation even outside of a school setting, it's always personal too. You never know in this day and time what would happen or where it may happen, and what steps you need to take in order to ensure your safety in those areas. So we recognize that. We're committed to that continuous improvement to make sure that our staff and our students are safe in our buildings at all times. Heather did talk to you about the budget development process, and we've shared that survey out with people, so we encourage people to fill it out, to give us the feedback. And that feedback will continuously inform that needs-based budget grounded in student learning outcomes and the priorities of the school division. Our central office team actually started quarterly progress reviews with school staff today. This gives us an opportunity to go as a team out to each of the schools to give them updates right from us as to what's going on in departments, to hear concerns, areas of focus, and to celebrate our staff in our building and the good work that they are doing. And it really allows us to ensure consistent communication and alignment across the division. So instead of just one person hearing something and reporting it back to the school, and we know how that happens, you hear it one way, we're there as a team. They give us questions in advance so we can try to find some answers up front, and it's an open conversation. Like I said, we started today at Crew Primary. I think Monday we move to the high school maybe, and bus shop and maintenance. We have a couple on Monday throughout the day, but every department, not just every school, every department we go to and have a conversation about what are our strengths, what's happening that's going on really well, what are some concerns, what do we need to look at as we move forward. So they're very open conversations, and I think they go very, very well with the feedback. I have to say too, I truly appreciate the continued support of the school board as we move through this important season. I thank you for always being open to communication and getting that information and giving feedback and things like that. So that's I really appreciate it. And ultimately, I remain grateful for the dedication of our entire school community to that committed goal that we say, that we are Nottoway committed to excellence. I shared with the principals and APs yesterday when we were doing our monthly meeting that is not just a shirt that says we are Nottoway committed to excellence. It's not just a slogan, it is a promise. It is a promise that we make to our students, our staffs, our families, our community, and our board, that we are truly committed to excellence, high expectations and accountability across the school division. So, and that we're just not going to settle. So that's my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Under matters of school board interest, this time is not 100% confirmed and, for the joint board meeting work session, but it's tentatively scheduled for January 26th. Confirmation, I've heard, was expected tomorrow. January 26, 27 is the 2026 VSBA Capital Conference in person or virtually. That's at the Richmond Marriott. January 27th, they have a VSBA school board chair and vice chair orientation. That's also at the Richmond Marriott. On January 28th, 2026, we have a scheduled school board work session, 6 p.m. at the school board office. February 12th is our second budget public hearing. March 24th, 2026 is the VSBA Regional Spring Network Forum. This year is in Greensville County. And under other, Ms. Duncan, do you have anything under other?
I do. One of the things is we do have on file an evaluation of school board operational procedures, policy AFA. I'd like for the board to take into consideration at a work session, we discuss how we're going to move forward with evaluating ourselves. In addition to that, I would like the board to start thinking and considering that our work sessions be moved to this location, so that way it can be also publicized, same as what our school board meetings are. In a move of transparency, I know that, if people are interested, they can come, but some people are unable to come and yet they're still interested. So I'd like y'all to consider that and start thinking about that as well. Other than that, I wanted to applaud the division. If I remember correctly, Dr. Martin did share it last session. I'd like to give a shout out to Nottoway for the work that they have been doing, for the increasing of our students' abilities, for the increasing of staff commitment to the staff, for, committing even at a higher level, to our students for committing at a higher level, and the board as well. That we have Nottoway High School is labeled, as I think as you shared last time, distinguished. And also, and I don't think this was brought up or not last time, but it's measured when they do the distinguished and on track, etc. They break it down into many areas. And I don't think it was brought out that Crew Primary was in the top 5 for Region 8 for math mastery. So I don't know if you did or not, but anyway, I just wanted to throw that out to them as well. for that accolation, and that's all.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, first I'd like to, I'm very proud of our principals coming up with the information that you guys share with us, and I'm really, really excited about you guys and with the information that you came up with, that you presented to us. So I thank you for that. Number two, okay, we're getting ready to have this budget meeting. There's been a lot of talk about money, this. Here's your chance, public.
Yes,
Here's
indeed.
your chance to see exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, how Dr. Martin and her staff is moving this money around, trying to make sure that this school system stay together. So we implore you to help us. We are human. We can use ideas. So, you know, and I'm grateful that you come up here and you talk to us about the different things. So let's put your money where your mouth is. Come to these budget meetings.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Mr. Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I have a few items. I would strongly suggest or recommend that each of us, as board members, reach out to the superintendent and have a verbal discussion with her on performance evaluation. It is part of a contractual obligation that we meet with her. Now, if necessary, I can put that in the form of a motion, but I don't think it needs to be. Second, I think we need to change policy GCPB. It was mentioned tonight. The third paragraph, which begins with every two and ends with to resign. Basically, that paragraph was to have the superintendent notify the chair and the vice chair on any resignation, and since we're not doing anything when they do that, we might as well eliminate that paragraph. Personally, I'm signed up for FOIA training in January if anybody wants to come along. I passed out some material for the work session discussion. I won't mention it any more than that. It is to give me the ability to accurately respond to a constituent. I have turned in my economic interest material, and I know that all has to be in by the end of January. Personally, I want to thank each and every one of you. I have gone through some medical issues, and if it wasn't for a superintendent and the clerk who kept me informed of everything that was going on.
Yes, indeed.
And to have friends on this board that reached out, their thoughts and prayers meant a great deal to me and my family.
Yes, indeed.
I also want to say that the last 6 months of calendar year 25 have been absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, indeed.
From July to December. And it happens because of you folks sitting right out there.
Yes, indeed.
If it wasn't for you folks and the staff and our superintendent, would we ever be able to say all 5 schools are accredited?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You need to give yourself a hug.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And I thank you personally and professionally. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Outlaw.
I would like to do a double dittos on what Sonny said about what all has happened in 6 months. I mean, 6 months is not very long, but the progress that Nottoway County Public Schools has made is nothing short of phenomenal. And thank each and every one of you. Please pass that out to your staffs. We really appreciate your efforts. We really do.
Yes, indeed.
I would also, Mr. Chair, ask if you could put on the agenda for next month a discussion of policy BHDR or BHD-R, school board member compensation and benefits.
All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Outlaw. All right, is there a
How about the chair? Does the chair have?
Oh, Chair doesn't have anything at this moment. Everything's been said. Everything's been said. I've covered it all well. All right, is there a closed meeting resolution?
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to Section 2.23711A of the Code of Virginia, I am moved that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following specific matters. A1, the consideration of personnel 4. 6, appointments. 1, Gear Up, Virginia State Coordinator. 1, School Nurse. 1, Gear Up, Virginia Data Coordinator. 1, Gear Up, Virginia Family Liaison. 1 Assistant Softball Coach, and 1 Assistant Boys Basketball Coach, and information on 1 resignation.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, sign of aye. Aye. We are in closed session.
Tomorrow?